Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about a coin that looks very normal, but in the right hands it could be worth serious money, the 1997 D Washington quarter from the United States. While most of these are common and only worth a few cents or dollars, some rare error examples can go all the way up to $4,000 or even more in very special cases. If you know what to look for, you might just have a hidden treasure in your pocket change. The 1997 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is why you see a small D next to George Washington's ponytail on the front. That year, the Mint made a huge number of these, nearly 600 million. Because so many were made, most of them are very common. In average, everyday condition, many of these coins are worth about 26 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, but without any error, they often only go for about $14 to $15. On the other hand, rare, error-filled, or perfect high-grade versions can sell for a lot more. For instance, a 1997 D quarter graded PCGS MS68 sold at auction for $1,708.88 according to CoinWeek. According to price charting, other high-grade ones also go for hundreds. MS68 is about $328, and a perfect MS70 example could hit around $493. These are real collector sales, not just guesses. Now, why might someone think this coin could be worth $4,000? That number comes when you consider ultra-rare error coins. If a 1997 D quarter has a very big or dramatic error like strong doubling, a big off-center strike, or a wrong planchet and it is in great condition, a dedicated collector might pay very highly. But those are extremely rare cases, and not every error coin will reach that level. Most stay in lower hundreds or low thousands. Let me walk you through the design of the coin so you can spot what's normal and what might be a mistake. On the front, you have George Washington's bust facing left. You'll see Liberty above his head, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1997 at the bottom. On the right side, near his ponytail, is that D mint mark showing it came from Denver. On the back, there's a classic eagle with spread wings, holding arrows, and there are curved branches. Around the eagle are the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and at the bottom $quarter. Because this design is very familiar and standard, any odd change stands out strongly. One key error to watch for is the double die. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has its design impressed twice, but very slightly shifted. The result is doubling in letters or numbers. On a 1997 D quarter, you might see doubling in Liberty, in In God We Trust, in the date 1997, or even in the D mint mark. According to error coin guides, a double die coin of this type can be worth around $75 to $100. But if the doubling is very strong and the coin is in high grade, it could be worth much more, maybe even into the low thousands. Another important error is the off-center strike. This happens when the metal blank, planchet, is not placed exactly in the center when the mint's dies hit it, so part of the design is missing or shifted. How much it's off-center matters. If the strike is small, the value is small. But if the design is 50% or more off-center and the date is still visible, that coin becomes very attractive to collectors. Guides suggest a 50% off-center error could be worth around $80 or more. In really dramatic examples, especially when certified by a grading company, this could reach into the thousands, possibly around that $4,000 mark if the error is extreme and the condition is very good. Then, there is the wrong planchet or wrong planchet error. This is when a coin is struck on a blank made for a different kind of coin. For example, maybe it was struck on a planchet meant for a dime or a penny. These are much rarer, and when they do happen, guide estimates for 1997 quarters go from $200 up to $1,000 or more. The exact value depends heavily on the type of planchet and how unusual the error is. There is also the missing clad layer error. Modern quarters, including the 1997 ones, are made with a copper core and a nickel-clad outer layer. If one of the outer layers is missing when the coin is struck, you may see a copper-colored surface like a penny on one side. This is a very collectible mistake. Some examples of missing clad layer errors on 1997 quarters have sold for over $100. Another less common but interesting mistake is die breaks or cuts. This is when the die cracks or chips, and metal flows into the cracked area during the minting process. That makes a raised blob or bump on the coin. Where that bump sits matters. If it's near the rim, near Washington's face, or near the eagle, it is more noticeable. These kind of error coins may sell for a few $100s, depending on how big and clean the die break is. Of course, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in value. A coin that is bright, sharp, and looks almost new is far more valuable than a coin with scratches or wear. Coins graded by professionals fetch higher prices. For example, a 1997 D-quarter graded MS-68 reached more than $1,700 in an auction. On the other side, coins in lower mint state or circulated condition only go for a few dollars. For example, very low mint state 1997 D coins may sell for just $2 to $5. It's important to be realistic. Finding a 1997 D quarter that is an error and in perfect condition is very rare. Most of the 599 million made are common and worth little. But a tiny fraction of them, the ones with big errors and clean metal, are what could approach that $4,000 level. That doesn't mean every error quarter is worth that much. Many will only be worth a few $100s. If you have a 1997 D quarter and want to check if yours might be special, here's how to do it simply. First, check the date and the D mint mark. Then look closely at the letters and numbers, especially Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling or odd lines. Look at the shape. If the design is shifted to one side, it might be off-center. Also, look at the edge. Is it smooth and wide, or normal? That could hint at a broad strike. Then look at the color. Does one side look copper-colored? That could be a missing layer. Finally, check for raised bumps or blobs that don't belong. Those might be die breaks or cuts. If you suspect your coin is an error, you might want to get it graded by a professional. Grading gives your coin a level of trust, and buyers will pay more for a coin with a reliable grade. But even before grading, just knowing the key error types can help you find something valuable. So, the 1997 D Washington quarter is more than just a quarter. Most are common, but some are rare and can be very valuable if they have big mint mistakes. Real market data shows many are worth only a few dollars or less, but error coins in top condition can go well into the hundreds, and in very rare and dramatic cases, possibly up to $4,000 or more. If you find one, check it carefully, and maybe you'll have a hidden gem.